The goal of Warfare mode is to hold more points than the other team at the end of the game. To look at the points, you can check the scoreboard or look at the map. The map is divided into sectors. Each sector is 2x2, and in a given game you'll have 5 points. The active sectors are the only points that can currently be captured. They're always adjacent to each other. In the example here, our team can't capture Battery without capturing Crossroads first. If we capture the Crossroads, then Battery will become unlocked. You capture a sector by having more weight than the other team. There's different weights depending on which part of the sector you're in. If you're outside of the strong point, the capture weight is +1. Inside the strong point is +3. In this example, we're attacking Crossroads. We have 2 blueberries inside the strong point and 3 inside the active sector. If the enemy's capture weight is less than ours, then we're going to start the capture timer, which is 2 minutes. And if the enemy can bring people back into the capture weight so that their weight is greater than ours, then the timer will start to be rolled back. There are 4 different types of spawn points, with the 2 most common being outposts and garrisons. All of these spawn at designated intervals shown here. And if there's a red triangle on the spawn menu, that means that there's enemies close by to the spawn point, so you should be ready to fight. If a garrison is entirely red, that means that there's enemies within 15 meters. Often this means that the enemy is actually dismantling this garrison, so if you see this on the map, try and defend that garrison as soon as possible. In Hell Let Loose, offense wins points and defense wins games. It's important that you try and spread out and control the entire active sector rather than just hanging around inside of the strong point. This is because it's going to be very easy for the other team to wipe your team out of the strong point if you guys are all concentrated in there. That being said, your defense should still focus around trying to keep the enemy out of the strong point because of how much capture weight it adds. To play an active defense, you have to try and figure out where the enemy is spawning and dismantle their spawns. If the enemy keeps coming from a certain area, it's a good indicator that they have a spawn point there. The enemy will usually place their offensive garrisons close to the line that separates the red and blue territory, so you can also push over that line and try and dismantle their offensive garrisons. When playing defense, you should try and maintain a network of garrisons around your strong point and use them as radar to see where the enemy's coming from. Since the spawn points will ping hot if the enemy is within 50 meters, you can draw a circle with radius of 50 meters around any spawn point. Here's what that looks like, and search for enemies within that. Usually it's good to have a garrison in or near the strong point of your defensive sector to make sure that you can spawn quickly and add a lot of cap weight by getting into that strong point. But keep in mind that that garrison will very likely be taken out by bombing runs. If your squad is playing offense, your first priority is to make sure that your current point is well defended. If they capture your current point, your whole squad is just going to be caught out of position in a locked territory. Next, you should make sure that there's a solid front line where most of the battle is taking place before flanking. If your whole team goes on the flank, the enemy's just going to push straight in and overwhelm your defense. When attacking, try and find the enemy defensive garrisons, in particular the one on the enemy's strong point, which they'll be able to use to easily defend. In most situations, it's almost impossible to capture a point without taking down that strong point garrison. You should make sure that your team has plenty of options for offense by placing blue zone offensive garrisons and red zone offensive garrisons. The red zone garrisons are locked out at a very large distance of 100 meters though, so you have to be careful about where you place these. Remember that most kits have at least 2 grenades, so when you're in the meat grinder, just dump all your frags and smoke towards the enemy and push in. Throw the smoke as far as you can forward so that it blocks the enemy's view and not your view. To allow your squad to react quickly, make sure you report any important information. This includes hot spawn points, dismantled friendly or enemy spawn points, or if you notice your team is losing the defensive point. At the start of the match, do not take the supply truck if you're not a squad leader or commander. The start of the match is a race to take the middle territory fastest, and a squad leader or the commander for your team is going to take that truck, drive it, and place a garrison as close as possible to the neutral territory. Usually you should just wait to spawn on that garrison so you can help your team take that neutral territory. Make sure that you react to what's happening with the current points. If you're on offense and your team loses the defensive point, it's probably best that you redeploy and help your team set up the new defense on your new defensive point. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment if I missed anything, and I'll see you out there.